Good morning, Bella Vista. So glad to see you. And I haven't seen Mayor Flynn for quite a while, right?
Yeah, we missed a couple months
We
there.
did.
So
January was, I don't know what happened there, snow or something.
Oh, I was down
you were
in Little
gone.
Rock, and Jason Kelly, the attorney, filled in.
That's
So,
where we
yeah.
got to meet the city attorney.
Yeah.
We've gotten good reviews on that show, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Then February we were snowed out, so.
Yeah. But anyway, we got a full agenda today, and we have a studio audience.
Yeah.
We do. And we're going to let them talk to you here in a few minutes, but it's FAST, Friends of Single Track. Right, guys?
Yes.
All right. I did it. Okay, so let's dig right in. You want to talk about the bike park and what you know about it? And then I think they have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah, I really thought Monday, March 10 was a watershed day because that's when the Planning Commission approved the bike park and some of the particular waivers that Blue Crane was requesting. So the bike park is 200 acres, and it's on the west side of 71. It's at the corner of Oldham and 71, and then it goes up the hill up to Cunningham, and it goes south to roughly, what's the name of the street? Sunset.
Sunset,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's about 200 acres, and they're going to have 20 miles of trails there. They have one that's a walking trail, and they have various levels of bike trails. They're not all super hard. Some of them are more family-friendly or for, less experienced riders. So it's a good mix. And, of course, this is a Blue Crane project, and you can tell they've done a lot of planning, put a lot of effort into it. So we had an open house on March 5 for the public.
Yes.
And it was just 3 hours, 4 to 7 p.m., on a Wednesday, and they were just amazed. We had over 1,000 people show up, including our friends from FAST. Mm-hmm. And it was really a successful venture and very positive. And that even the planning folks remarked at the Planning Commission meeting, there was very little negativity, very positive vibe to it. So it ended up passing 5-0.
Yep. So
Blue Crane and I both thought that was a good sign.
It is, and I want to just say something about that a little bit. We're doing, Blue Crane is doing this in stages, as is normal for a large-scale development.
Yeah.
And one thing that kind of came up that I want to help people understand a little bit is, why do a gravel parking lot? Well, here's why. First of all, that first building is all that's going to go up first. Then they're going to be bringing in heavy equipment to actually construct the bigger part. So you don't want to do a paved driveway or a parking lot right away because you just have to do it over again.
Yeah,
a lot of
they
people
didn't want to dig it up afterwards.
Right. So that's why, folks, they're not cheaping out or anything and doing a gravel driveway parking lot, but just it's in steps. And I don't know about you, but I look forward to working with them because I think they're going to do it right, by the book.
Yeah. I really like the way they approach things. They're very professional and try to do things the right way. In fact, the type of lift they have for going up the hill is real high quality. They studied all the ski resorts in Colorado and Utah and also even in New England, and looked at some of the folk. A lot of those ski resorts have biking part of the year, and they studied all that and picked out the most, really the highest quality they possibly could for our lift. And there's going to be another lift going on in Mena, Arkansas, but ours is first. So
That's
we're
right.
going to be the first bike-only lift in Arkansas.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be a great thing for the city, and really will. Already our biking is great. We have over 100 miles of soft surface trails, but this will add to that. And one thing I really like about it is it's good for the economy and brings in tourists and whatnot, but you're preserving the woods. You know, that's 200 acres. Somebody could have come in and built houses or built commercial and just cemented the whole place over. And this way you're preserving the woods and the nature, which people in Bella Vista really like.
Yeah.
So.
Let's give our fast friends, that sounds weird, our fast friends out there a chance to ask a couple of questions. So whoever has the mic out there, tell us who you are and what your question is.
Hello, Mayor. Brett McCormick with Friends of Arkansas Single Track. To kick this off, what would you say, in a two-part question here, what would you say the impact of mountain biking has been over the last decade for this community? And then what do you foresee the future impact to be?
Well, that's a good question. I think it definitely has had a positive economic impact for the city. You know, our in this last year even is a good example. Our city sales tax went up 7%, and most cities in Arkansas had no increase at all in the past year. And even the county, which seems like there's a lot going on with Walmart building new headquarters and all, their sales tax was almost flat, just barely up 1%. So our city sales tax going up so much. In fact, in the last few years, our city sales tax went from 1.9 million to 4.2 million, so it more than doubled just since we took the bond out. And a lot of it has to do with the increased activity, I think the biking, you know, and it is about economics, the economic activity, and I think that's going to increase much more. This bike park's going to get a lot of publicity and bring even more people in. But, you know, it's also about the positivity of it. I mean, you're talking about exercise, people being outdoors, and Bella Vista is really becoming known as an outdoor recreational place. That's really a kind of our strong suit. We've got the golf, we've got lakes, now we've got over 100 miles of trails.
About 120 coming up.
Yeah, and it's just increasing that much more. I think this is going to have a big effect on the amount of use of all the trails, really. So actually, on that subject matter, you know, we have trail counters at a number of the trailheads. And in 2024, we had our biggest number ever. It was like 430,000 users. And there isn't a counter at every single place yet. There's some places on the West Side Trail, a little sugar trail, that don't have a counter yet. So we know our number was even larger than that. So it's been tremendous, the increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sales tax for sure. There'll be shops going in there, and there's a little restaurant, I think, and just having people here in Bella Vista is going to help.
Yeah.
You said that was two-part.
Yes. I'm sorry, we'd already passed the mic down for the next question. But the second, what do you foresee the future over the next decade, the impact of mountain biking to take on the community of Bella Vista?
Oh, I think it's going to continue to grow, a lot having to do with this bike park and the publicity it generates. And, you know, it's kind of a regional deal. I mean, Fayetteville and Bentonville are constantly having events, and that just gives the area more publicity. And they're biking. Most times when Bentonville has an event, part of the event takes place in Bella Vista. And, you know, people come here and ride around and say, boy, this is really unique, and are really impressed by it. So, you know, everyone knows we have people, another economic effect, we have people moving here just because of the biking situation. And, in fact, we were going to try to do a study to look at the difference in property values before and after the trails were put in place, because it's clearly having a big effect that way as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question.
Hey, Mayor Flynn. I'm Josh Dean, president of Friends of Arkansas Single Track. And as Bella Vista is a great town for locals to walk, ride their bikes between businesses. Obviously, this park is coming to Mercy Way, which is already a pretty popular, busy intersection. Are you aware of any plans to kind of shore up the intersection so that traffic is not as big of an issue? And also for people that are trying to actively get to this bike park from Blowing Springs, for example, via bike or via walking, Right now, that intersection is a pretty challenging intersection to cross 71. Are you aware of anything that would be positive for that? And also to go the other way, people that are going to the bike park and then want to go across the street to Allen's or the restaurants there to give business to other Bella Vista residents.
Well, that's a good question because there is a lot of different things in that area, and there's more planned for the future. And yeah, they do have plans to institute a pedestrian-friendly and bike-friendly crossing so that you could cross back and forth more readily. I think a lot of the people will be on that side of the street, but there certainly will be some coming and going, and they do have plans to address that. You know, there was someone raised the issue of traffic at the
Yes.
Planning Commission, and they've done a pretty extensive study of the traffic, and a lot of the times when traffic will peak for this is different from rush hour traffic. A lot of it's on the weekends, and even during the week, it's times a day that doesn't exacerbate the problem with rush hour. But yeah, they're giving a lot of thought, because of the Razorback Greenway going past there and all, a lot of thought to doing something for bikers and pedestrians to get across the street. You know, you mentioned people walking on the trails. The studies that Blue Crane has done, these lifts that take bikes up the hill, they said about 50% of the users normally are not bikers. They
They're
just
hikers.
go up for the view or to hike around in the woods and whatnot. So it's a tremendous impetus for biking, but it's impetus for anyone who likes the outdoors, really.
Okay.
So
Okay, I think we have time for one more question, guys.
All right, well, excuse me, this is Brent Steinspring. And a question I have for you, Mayor Flynn, is regarding the development going on in that area by the bike park. Is it also including some further expansions of sewer and water?
that is a good question. One of the reasons Blue Crane picked this particular development to go first is because it doesn't require any significant change infrastructure-wise, and they could get it done more quickly. They're anticipating it'll be ready spring of 2026. But for other development in that area, which they're thinking about in the future, they've done an extensive study of the infrastructure, sewer and water-wise, and sewer is the bigger challenge. They have it's really relatively expensive, but they're planning to do that. It's a heavy lift, but they're planning to do that for some of the things that are coming down the pike. And I do think this bike park will be a catalyst. As you know, they own the shopping center across the street there, and I think it'll be a catalyst for making that whole area nicer and more user-friendly. So, but it is going to be a challenge on the infrastructure side. But I think they're capable of meeting it. They're just very professional the way they plan things and go about things. So
That's right. And that is sewer, so that makes it easier than the septic issue.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. All right. Well, we've got a lot to talk about today. Thank you guys for your questions. It's really nice to have you here. All right. So our credit rating went up, huh?
Yeah, speaking of financial items, we got a pleasant surprise recently. You know, we had a 1% bond for the new police facility and the fire training tower and the new fire station on Glasgow Road. And every few years, the rating agency, in this case it was S&P Global Ratings, which is formerly called Standard & Poor's, will have a review with you. And we had our local financial advisors, and they said, well, don't expect your credit rating to get any better. It'll probably stay the same. So life's all about expectations. So we had a meeting with them and went over all our financials and whatnot, and we're pleasantly surprised our credit rating was AA minus, which was the same as Bentonville and Rogers. So we were quite happy when we got that, when we first did the bond, because the city had never even done a bond. That was in 2020, and the voters approved that. But we're really happy with our credit rating because it makes the interest rate lower. Our interest rate actually on that bond was 1.1%, which is crazy good. I mean, interest rates were really low at that time. So anyway, we were pleasantly surprised. Our credit rating increased to AA from AA minus. And some of the main reasons for that were they expected our bond to pay off in 2031. And now they think it's going to pay off in October 2027. So the receipts from our sales tax were more than they thought. The other thing that's happened, an argument I made when we met with them, is we're building 500 or 600 houses a year. And so since you count online sales, it's inevitable our sales tax is going to continue to go up because we're constantly adding these additional households. So that was the reason for the credit rating upgrade. But the significance of that is just that people see you have good credit in general, and when you go out to borrow money in the future, you'll get a better rate than you would have. So
That's right.
It's kind of a geeky inside baseball kind of thing, but the director of finance and I were very happy about that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's this development compliance officer? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I had listed here some of the city council activities.
Yes.
And the first one is up for a vote. You know, we just had the work session, and the city council meeting is Monday. That would be the 24th, March 24th. And the planning department has a new position, a development compliance officer, and it's someone who works with planning and building, but can help people not violate, local laws, and to also to give citations if necessary. So that's a new position, and Dylan Shaddix actually has taken that position.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was an in-house job change. He's been doing a great job. So that's up for approval with them. And a bunch of other things were on the menu with the city council. We have, salt and sand reload. They used a lot of salt and sand
Right.
on those storms. We had a couple of significant snowstorms this year, and so they're needing permission to reload those. I'd like to get them ready in case there's another storm, but also you'd be ready for next year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
the other thing that's happening is we're having an audit, and our auditors are Forvis Mazars LLP, and we had to have council approve using them. And this is the first time we've done a GAAP audit. We always were on the regulatory basis, which is a lot easier. But recently, when we did this revenue bond, the people gave us the bond, gave us a really good rate, but they required that we do a GAAP audit, which is a lot more work for our finance people.
I know. I'm an accountant, so yes,
so
I
you know
understand.
what we're talking about.
Hey, you know what? Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, pick up where we left off. We'll
Okay.
Be back in a few minutes, folks.
Great.
Hello, I'm Dave Todd, president of Todd Films. We work alongside Bella Vista Community Television to produce some of the content you see aired here. Have you thought about reaching your customers through a television ad? We have several options for you to consider. They range from coming to our studio here, or going to your place of business, or on location. Once you have your commercial, Bella Vista Community Television has several options for you to consider for airing your commercial. Do you have a live event that you would like to capture on video? We also offer live production packages that may be of interest. Please continue to tune in to Bella Vista Community Television. We hope you are enjoying this program. And now back to the show.
Okay, we're back. And I think we were talking about, the fire department, right?
Yeah, they've got several things coming up with the fire department. They were purchasing a new Chevy Silverado and a new Chevy Tahoe. And, the building inspectors are under the fire department now, and they wanted to add one building inspector. Our building has been so active. We had 636 new houses last year, which is the highest we've had in at least the last 15 years. So, we're hearing a lot from the builders about timing and wanting to get things approved faster. So we really felt we needed to give them a little more help in that department. So we are adding one building inspector.
Okay.
So
Alrighty.
that technically falls under the fire department. So, and on the Arts Council, we're reappointing Demara Titzer. She's been chairman the last few years, and that's just a 3-person council, and they've, as you know, used to be on it.
Yeah.
They've done quite a bit, and been really happy with what they've been able to do and stretch their dollars, get a lot done without spending too much money, really. So we've had just a lot of different people on the different committees and whatnot come up recently, and it's really been amazing how willing the citizens are to get involved. Most of the bicycle one, the Active Transportation Board,
Yes.
is the most. We'll have like 30 applications for one opening. It's just unbelievable, and some people tremendously qualified. And but even all the other committees, we've been getting 10 applications for a position like on the Planning Commission or the various commissions we have. So it's been very gratifying how willing the citizens are to get involved in things.
Absolutely.
So.
All right. So, what's this about? We got a grant?
Yeah, we got a grant that was actually for our bike safety. That was a TAP grant we had applied for it. It's for $101,000. And so that's going to take place in the next year or so. And the idea is improved education with bikers and drivers to help keep the city safe and help enhance our safety. And one thing I've been struck by since I've been mayor of Bella Vista is people really think about safety. I get so many calls from people, hey, they're driving too fast on such and such a street.
Or they're going over the middle line. That's the one I hate.
Or they, they had a temporary trail, still do, where some of the bikers on the edge of 71, and there's some bollards there, and people have, raised questions about that. Gee, is that safe? But luckily, we've had a pretty good record on street safety, but you have to stay vigilant. And I think this education grant's probably a good idea.
Yep. So alcohol tax. Tell us about that.
Well, one of the council people brought that up. They wanted to do a feasibility study about having a city tax on alcohol, and we're going to look into it. Some of the other large cities in Northwest Arkansas do it. And, we're just studying it at this point. But their rationale was that we needed more firemen, more people in the fire department. And, you hate to raise taxes, but some people think when it's a sin tax, it's maybe more palatable, but so-called sin tax. But so that's just something that's being studied at this point. I don't know if
so it has to do
that.
with safety, really, the
Yeah.
policemen or the firemen or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that might be something. Okay. All right. So Oldham, that's a big controversy right now.
This next one is a biggie. We have a problem at Oldham Drive, and it's near Tavistock, and we're concerned that the road appeared to be failing, so we had some engineers come on from a company called Terracon and study it, and we were fearful that it was something bad,
Yeah.
and it is something bad. So now we have to go out for bids to. Really, we're at the point, the alternative is to close the road.
Oh,
and
no.
Oldham's a pretty significant cut through, as you know.
And it
Fair
has to
amount
do
of
with the
traffic.
bike park.
Yeah. Well, it's right next to it.
Yeah.
And so we're always prone to fix it if we can, but we're not quite sure what this is going to cost. It could be quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, you fight real hard and get your budget and you have it just right. And then something unpleasant happens in the middle of the year to kind of mess things up. So,
Right.
So that's just something we're still working through, but it's probably more significant than most of the things we're mentioning today. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we need to speed this up just a little so we get everything in.
Well,
We're
this
playing
next
catch up
one
today.
is good. This planning grants for 2025, because one of them is reimagining Highway 71.
You hear that, guys? We're reimagining it.
Has to do with the question, really, that the FAST guys asked about. They're thinking in terms of having, I guess you'd call it traffic calming. Maybe people don't go quite so fast, having some greenery.
More like a boulevard through there.
Yeah, boulevard look, right, and having some lanes for bikes to travel on both sides and that kind of thing, bikes and pedestrians. So, and this is just the engineering study part. We went for this grant and didn't get it last year, which surprised us. But a lot of times in the grant business, if you're smart, you keep going back for it, and the second or third time around, you know you get it.
Yes,
So that's one. And the other grant, this is both under planning area, Taylor Robertson's area, is a trails plan update. Believe it or not, our trails plan is 10 years old.
Really?
Yeah, and the regional plan is being updated this year. So when they finish, we want to update our section of it. So that's what that's about. And it's just, things change. A lot of things changed in the last 10 years, and some things happened.
You and I haven't changed a bit,
yeah.
though, have we?
No.
No.
Some things happened that, were different than people might have imagined. Trails went different places. All the kinds of things that happened. I actually remember I was on council when we first started the trails. And Peter Christie, the mayor, was really for it, and I was always with them 100%. And when we first started them, there weren't many people on them, and some of the councilmen said, "What are we doing this for? It's just a skinny little trail, nobody's on it." And boy, what a difference it is now. If there's a halfway decent day in the middle of winter, I'll be driving, going to work, and there'll be people, weekday, weekend, doesn't make any difference. There's people all over the place.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's very noticeable.
A lot of those people, not a lot, but there are some people that use those trails to go back and forth to work. And
Yeah.
I'm not even talking short distances,
Oh, yeah.
Our planning,
Yeah.
the head of our planning department drives to Bentonville every day, rides
Yeah.
on his rides, whatever you do to it,
Yeah.
to work.
Yeah.
So go ahead, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Now that you mention that, Walmart has a goal to have 10% of their employees at headquarters ride bikes to work. And, with the e-bikes and whatnot, that is becoming much more, and of course with our Ridgeback Greenway, that's becoming much more feasible. And there are people that live in Bella Vista and ride their bike to Bentonville to work.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And I think there'll definitely be more of that as time goes on. So yeah, I'm going to have to speed up here. Street Department got a grant for $300,000 from the state of
Okay.
Arkansas.
Okay.
And that was for they're going to do a road on the east side, Bethnal. It's about a mile long and needs some work. And every 4 years or so, you can get a grant like this from the state. So we're happy to be able to get that. Then just some financial things. Year in 2024, I probably might have already mentioned some of these. Our city sales tax was up 7%,
Yep.
$4.2 million. We don't quite have our financials yet. I'm going to have them by Monday's meeting. Our county sales tax is pretty much flat, and the 636 new housing permits just indicates, how much growth we're having. Taylor Robertson gave a presentation recently, and every kind of permit there is has gone up. She compared today to 5 years ago. Every kind of permit has gone up more than 100%. And some of them were like 200-300, but it was just off the charts. So it's just unbelievable how things have changed the last few years.
That's right. That's
Everybody wants to live here, which is kind of a nice feeling.
It is.
Anyway.
It is.
So one thing that's coming up is Monday at the city council meeting, I'm going to give the State of the City address. And it'll be on the website so people can read it. In fact, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to give a short. I figure it's better to give a summary version, and then people can read the details if they like. But it tells all about how the city's doing and what's happening. And it's kind of interesting to just sit back and summarize things once in a while.
Absolutely.
See what's what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Boy, that was quick. We got a lot of territory covered there. So
Yeah.
as always, let's invite people. Remember, I don't know how you feel about it, but I like seeing those seats full at the city council meetings with people coming and watching and listening and asking the questions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's for, right?
Yeah.
So that's Monday at the Public Safety Building, starting at 6.
Yeah,
correct?
6 p.m.
Right.
And also, it's streamed live, and you can watch it later on Bella Vista Community TV. I was checking recently, and we're getting 200 views on the city council meetings, and that actually, I don't think that counts everything. I don't think it counts the
doesn't.
Roku.
It doesn't.
It just can count some of the online things, but it gives you some idea. So people are utilizing it. Even after the fact, you can watch it later.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can watch my speech and then fast forward through when other people are talking. Save some time that way.
That's great. Okay, well, hey, thank you, studio audience. And yeah, clap again so they'll know you're here. It's really nice. You're our first, well, I guess you're second, but our very first official studio audience.
Yeah, it was nice having the studio
You
audience,
bet. And
actually.
let's invite
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
on, especially if you want to talk to the mayor directly, you can do that anyway. But if you want to have him captive right here, you could come every third Wednesday. We do In with Flynn, and that's the city update. But we encourage you to come and be part of the studio audience. Now, we're not Oprah, so we don't have prizes for everybody.
Right, everybody doesn't get a car.
No, and it's government.
They might all get a bike, though. I
Oh,
don't
well, who
know.
knows? All right.
Probably wouldn't be as nice as the one you already have.
A picture of a bike, or not this big. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Come to the council meetings. Check out that website. I'm telling you, that new website is really great. And you can find things on the city website that you couldn't really as much before, but now it's all there. And it's current. And we'll see you next month. I don't know what we'll talk about, but it'll be fun, won't it?
Yeah,
All right. Take care.
thank you.
Bye.